Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be going over the Universal Audio Korg SDD-3000. It is a digital delay, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm a really big fan of digital things, especially old digital things, because I find that they try harder and they have they're like not perfect. And this is a really good example of using a piece of hardware from that time period, the early 80s, and maybe throughout the 90s when things weren't as transparent. So what makes this special is what happens is an analog signal comes in and the amplifiers capture it and then, does its business, and then it converts it from digital back to analog. And both of those stages in this plugin has been modeled. There is, you can run a sine wave through here, and maybe if people want me to show you that, then I can. But yeah, you run a sine wave and there's harmonics added. So there's like color being added. But besides that, the thing that I really like about the early digital stuff and early stuff in general is that, you kind of had to be resourceful. So you had this in your rack back in the day. And, it's a delay, and I have, a simple sine wave, not sine wave, saw going into it, right? That's going into it, and it's a delay, and you have your delay time and your modulation. But what if I told you that if you're crafty enough, this can also be a flanger, I should say, or this could also be a chorus, right? Seems a lot more versatile, and you had to be kind of resourceful back in the day because there weren't a whole lot of things, especially digital things, which were like well within reach of the average person. So if I was made, a couple decades before I was made, I'd probably be using the rack unit like this. So this is the delay mode, right? Pretty simple. I'm going to adjust the time. I'm going to bring that right down to 0, right? So now it sounds like this, right? We're getting there. I'm going to increase the feedback. Ooh. And something really cool about this is it has modulation of the delay time. So it's like an imperfect delay time. It kind of modulates the pitch of that. If you modulate the pitch, then you get your phaser. So I'm going to bring the frequency down and just turn the modulation up. Really beefy. And that sounds a little bit different than a lot of flangers that you would come across, and you kind of had to be resourceful to do that. And you can also kind of overdrive the input level, and that'll also create a tone, and all those tones will be like amalgamated and accentuated. It's really special. So that is the flanger. Cool thing about this is we can also do a chorus effect. So I'm going to go to my mode here, and I want, mono in, and I want my effect left and my direct out. So there's going to be the delay effect on the left, and on the right is going to be the dry signal. So I'm going to turn this all the way up to that, and so you notice it sounds kind of weird. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the phaser is only in the left channel. I'll bring the feedback down, and I'm going to kind of modulate the pitch a little bit. So you got a bit of a phaser there. I might need to balance the output a little bit. I can delay it a bit more, get more of a has effect sort of thing. That's more appropriate, actually. Right, so that might be a little bit too intense. I'm just going to bring the intensity down. Alright, so what does that sound like with a lot of stereo material to begin with? I know it's stereo, but this might be like a pseudo kind of stereo effect. Anyway, That is well and fun. It's a bit of an experimentation. I've never actually used one of these units before, but I kind of know that there's more to it. It's not like a completely transparent digital signal that goes into these. There's a lot of color added, and that's like an important kind of distinction or an important thing to realize. This is worth modeling, in my opinion, because there's a lot going on than just, the audio in and the feedback. Is it linear? Is it not? And then like the filters, like the shape of the filters, and then make sure the feedback or the delay lines are, I think it's like 16-bit. No, not 16-bit, like 12-bit or something like that. Downsample them, do all this stuff. There's a lot more than that. And, all you have to, like I have what do I have? I have a 3630 here, and I could never hope to make what that sound like in just Ableton using like standard plugins or even a combination of VSTs. It has a certain thing to it. And yeah, anyway, that is this video. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.